I was like, no, that's not.
Don't you enjoy this?
Furia versus NRG right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you here for the 2026 EGF High School National Championship located here in San Antonio, Texas. My name is Sir J, joined up by Sir Pegasus as we got two phenomenal teams hitting the pitch on Rocket League tonight. And we cannot wait to get them set up for you.
Well, it's such an... in San Antonio, Texas. However, for some teams, the run is longer than the others, and that is the case for these two. It's the Retro Rams versus Gaia Esports.
And the Gaia Wildcats looking to take on the Rams. Two phenomenal animals, two phenomenal teams. As we know, right here in this Rocket League action, we really can't be seeing anything taking place, anything transpiring. We'll have to wait and see what this will look like in terms of the disparity, right? Will this be a close-knit game? Will we be seeing a tight matchup between two Titans? Will this be a little bit of a more, I guess, high racing action? Who knows? But as we are going to be seeing, this is the semifinals. I do believe it is round one. Is our first game of the Rocket League of the day. So we got one more on the docket right after this, so you're going to make sure to stay tuned for that one, as there's going to be a whole lot of action coming your way, as well as tomorrow we will be crowning the champions on Sunday for not only Rocket League, but Valorant, not Super Smash Bros. Oh man, Valorant and Marvel Rivals and Overwatch and all the fun action. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are ready as we're hitting the pitch. As of now, Geyer taking a little bit of an offensive push with the ball almost hitting the net. Unfortunately, a little bit too nice and steady.
Yeah, it's a huge start. Coming quick out the gates, just making sure to get those early showing of ability you have behind you already. We are seeing hits above the crossbar. These are all very capable players in their own right. First opportunity will fly across just about. Is kept out with a final defender, but the counter-attack comes quick. 2 touches. Not quite going to reach off the backboard. Hickaken sends it off that right wall. It's Asher with a backboard as an option, but no boost of a tank to see the end of it.
Rapid touches. Palm Beach looking to try and attack once more. Hits the corner, unfortunately, does launch right on out. Palm Beach still looking to mount this offense. Geyer on the other side of things. Barely going to be able to send this one out, but his Light of the World will be unable to get to that verticality. That's a goal. Geyer High School will send the first one right on track.
And it was such a risky offense that we saw from the Rams. Just committed so many people towards that top corner, and it just gave Gaia that counter-attacking opportunity. They had the strength in numbers, but the clearance was good enough already reaching that target. They got to skip a few steps on the road and reach their destination. It's a huge first goal to pick up, especially in a brutal best-of-5 format.
Yeah, best of 5. You have a little bit of a longer race than a best of 3, but in comparison to something like a best of 7, where you really don't have everything on the line from the start, won't matter. Light of the World will send one straight underway after a pretty high ball just gives them that chance to hit it straight in center. Despite a couple of the Geyer players looking to maintain the defense, it still will not be enough to get past. And at this point, Palm Beach finds the equalizer. Still 3 minutes 40. A lot of opportunity for a team to start to really set a tone for this match.
And I've liked the tenacity from the Rams. Quick out the gate, they want to be that offensive team. They've got those paths between each other, but that one didn't reach a teammate. Almost an opportunity there for Gaia to immediately take that lead right back. You can see Hickaken picking up the position of a halfway line. Crisp has to keep this one in the corner. There are 2 options for teammates to eventually get that clearance. It will be Trix picking off his teammate. The fake comes through, beats both players. That's a wondrous way to score on LAN.
Such an elusive player, Trix Collie, able to get past everyone by faking and pushing the ball straight into net. 3 minutes remaining, but at this point, despite the first goal going the way of Geyer High School, it is Palm Beach who is going to completely revamp themselves in.
Back on. Bunkley will catch it at the halfway. This is All up to Gaia to bring this game back. They've already proven that they can do it earlier in the game, but instead, Chris manages to double up. It's a lovely play towards that far post, but it's clearly with that interrupting touch, realizes he's not going to be able to make any more forward progression, but instead of giving away that possession, keeps it on one of those pink cars and is rewarded with that extra advantage. It's an unseen spot for the series so far. It's all up to Gaia to see if they can respond.
At this point, the response needs to come in, and it needs to come in swiftly. That's a good one. Able to get past a few of the cars, but at this point, scrambling back to the defense, we will be seeing Palm Beach still maintaining this hole. But a nice touch. Has a lot of impact to it, but barely. Phoebus Bunkley is going to be able to hold this one straight out of net by hitting it just enough to get to the backboard. As Geyer now still going to look to hold out on the defense. A few of these Palm Beach players really starting to open up and execute straight into net.
Well, but it won't bear fruit of that first chance. Still gonna have to build up from the wings. Needs to find some space inside. Instead, it's just a sea of blue as Gaia regain possession, take it for themselves. That looks like a better chance into the box, but the corridor of uncertainty had all of its chaos translated by the Palm Beach defenders. That shot won't make it either. It's another great clearance out to the wings. That double demo as well will help take the space, but Asher just respawns to the correct area of the pitch, is able to delay some of these offensive opportunities and swing this pendulum back in their favor.
As the ball still, though, goes to the wing, keeping it high. Cricks looking to get past the first, but 50-50 keeps it to the corner. As they're baring their fangs, so many players moshed together in this corner, looking to try and hold this one to their own. Nice shot to the top, hits it to the backboard. Second opportunity, misses out, but they keep on trying, and this might be an overinvestment. Not yet. The Palm Beach players still able to hold back, get their rotation underway, and stand to the defense.
And that was a shot which would have surely decided game one. 2 goals. Feels like it is still within range of a miracle, but you've got to take every opportunity, especially when that yellow text has popped up on your screen. Less than 60 seconds still to go, and Palm Beach might have just gone away with murder and done that little bit more. Crisp on for a hat-trick.
At this point, we are seeing a masterclass performance in fruition as Geyer High School having no chances, no opportunities, nothing given to them as capitalization is found by the Palm Beach squad over each and every action. As now 40 seconds remaining, and it certainly seems as if this game number one has been cemented. Yes, there is still time to be able to revitalize yourself if you're Geyer High School, be able to make some kind of changes. Opportunities need to be found and need to be pounced on, but so far they've just had such a disappointing time to be able to make that happen. The defense has looked good, however the offense has just been, it's been lackluster to say the best.
Absolutely, and you can't waste a single second in a best of 5 either. You'd want the players to have that change of mentality in the final minute to just say, hey, it's all 0-0. We've got to prepare ourselves for this upcoming game, but that runaway opportunity isn't going to see the back of the net. The respawn was there just in the nick of time. Gaia felt like they should have had 2 or 3 out of this first game, but Palm Beach were undeniable. It was a minimum of 4 goals they had to pick up, and they have pulled it off with such class. Crisp deservedly taking that MVP spot.
This is exactly what you're looking for if you are on the Rams squad. Taking such a dominant game number one, 4-1. Almost able to get one on the end for Geyer Esports as they were close to being able to set a second goal in stone. But unfortunately, it was just the Retro Rams who just did not give over a single inch. Now as they go up match number one, we'll see whether or not they're going to be able to continue the same level of momentum, whether or not Geyer is going to be able to start to mount some sort of comeback, maybe bring us to a best of 3 after both teams take one, who knows? But overall, this game one certainly does set a bit of a theme in my mind of how this next couple games is going to be presented. And if Palm Beach does keep the same level of just tenacity up, if they can keep the same tempo up, I think that there's a real chance that the overwhelmment of Geyer will be soon to be seen.
And these are the two lowest seeding teams that are in Nationals at the moment, with Stepinac Crusaders waiting in that second round of the winners bracket to play whoever is the winner of this series. We're actually going to be following that journey over here on stream, so make sure that you do stick around. But I need this series to get convincing. It did start to swing further and further towards that Palm Beach favor as that game went on. But I do fear they may have let Gaia High School back into the game a bit. Probably should have gotten that second goal right at the end. They had a few more counter-attacking opportunities that just were not present for the rest of the game, especially towards that first half of it. But with a fresh start, a new game, no leads to chase, you can truly just play your own game of Rocket League. Anything can happen, and something needs to happen if you're a Gaia supporter.
Yeah, when you're thinking about Geyer and how they're going to be able to get into this game, a lot of it does have to come to being able to really start separating the offense from the defense. Because as of now, they're working well on the defense, but they got to start picking it up. Take the current tempo, start taking more shots, taking more opportunities. And so far, that really hasn't been the game plan for them, right? You look towards Palm Beach Lakes Community High School, they've been actively searching for these opportunities, and it's usually been coming into their possession. And then they take a shot. If it misses, who cares? You're going to go for another one later on anyways. They don't let anything get to them. They've just been actively searching, and overall, just these rotations as well have been looking good, right? Even when they lose possession,
Yes.
it seems like Geyer might have some kind of chance to be able to get this ball into net, which has happened at least twice that I saw. Palm Beach instantly has their number and says, nope, that's our ball, not yours.
Yeah, a big difference between the way these two teams play, especially defensively, where offensively you can definitely see the strengths from Gaia. For me, the big difference is that when Gaia are defending, they're playing for survival. When Palm Beach are playing, they're playing for that transition. They're trying to find another teammate, a passage of escape. They'll take the ball close. They'll take it up the wall if they need to. Whereas for Gaia, it's all about just keeping the ball out of the back of the net. And oftentimes that does just leave the ball going back into these danger areas, straight back onto one of those pink cars. And it just forces them to soak up so much pressure. So whilst those defensive stats are looking great and those save numbers are high, ideally you need that defense to turn into offense. You've got to try and look for those little gaps that those opponents present, especially when they play as attacking as Palm Beach do, because they have been showing those signs of weakness. But Gaia just haven't been there to strike. However, it is a fresh game, Cherry. And it is the second game of a best of 5.
Already Palm Beach putting up some offensive pressure, cuts it against the crossbar, but unfortunately the goal not to come in, trying to spike it down, hits the side once more, not able to send the ball right underway into net. Still though, all three players going in aggressive, looking to try and send this ball straight home, straight underway. Not going to be able to make anything just yet. Does seem as if we might have even seen a substitution. I don't believe we saw Asha in the previous game. I could be wrong. Correct me if that is not the case. But so now, as we do see the ball starting to narrow its way down over towards this goal line. Not going to be available just yet, as it does stay mobile. Everyone searching. Everyone looking to navigate towards the ball. And as Geyer hits it high, that's a good second touch.
This has been a game so far which has been riddled with those double commits, whether that is just a lack of communication or a bit of nerves. Of course, for playing your first winners round on LAN, is going to be something you have to shake off as this series continues, because that could be the decider. Just having one less mistake in your arsenal. That dunk, though, will not find its way in amongst the sticks. Hickigan tries to pass it off here to Asher. It's off that left wall. Can still remain for a second touch. Palm Beach haven't done enough. Gaia take the first goal of the game.
Asher season to find the first goal. This is very similar to what we saw in the previous game, where it was just Gaia able to look good at the start, showing some glimpses of glory. But after that, they really started to just hit the brakes, not really take a whole lot of proactivity, and that allowed Palm Beach to just take over and just be that dynamic team who was constantly able to just explore new ways to be able to collect goals. And as of now, with Palm Beach hitting the ball straight up in center, good second shot. Oh, that's barely too wide.
Oh, but they're not out of the woods yet. Trix Coley has a passing opportunity, but it goes behind the third player. That's the main defender, but Chris Gets there in the nick of time for a save. Still, opportunities for Blue Car to be sent forward. That changes with Trix Coley's touch. Off the corner, off the crossbar, off the woodwork. Gaia survive for a few plays more. Goals should have been split down the middle. Instead, we see survival from both rosters, which should only favour Gaia, but the ball is in the wrong half. The shot is on yet again. The save comes off. The crossbar once more, but the double tap does land. Palm Beach wash away a goal.
A mechanical nightmare to deal with as Chris does not go for one touch. Will make that second one, hit their own rebound right into net. And Gaia now taken aback. Despite starting out with the lead, it is still very similar to what we saw in the last game. However, this time they're already trying to bear their fangs, weather the storm, equalize the series. Not just yet, though, as the ball does get back into possession. Do look towards Gaia. They're able to mount themselves up to a nice position, hit it against the wing. The impact these touches have had from the Gaia squad have looked good. Unfortunately, the follow-up from them has not been there. Light of the World hits it back to the side, keeps it on their territory, but they're going to look to keep control. Hikujin backed up and now sent all the way back into spawn points. Trix Kali looking to try and get something done. 50-50 low. Trix Kali hits it back up. Chris looking for the second goal, but it is a little bit loose once more. And back to just the corner.
And it rebounds back into the center. Gaia player vote. Getting the most recent touch, but it is Crisp, the player that you don't want to see ready behind the ball, who is prepared. Just progress the play back forward. All three players in that box. They have to take it towards that far post. They don't reach it, but Live the World still unable to get past that final defender. Hikkigan alone is enough in the corner. The play is flipped. Gaia have played a much tighter game than what we saw in the first. There still are a few signs of danger when they are in the defensive third, and a miss like that certainly will contribute. But Hikkigan, confidence from his own half, a flip reset, sensible towards the target, but it's not going to be enough to challenge Lives.
This point, ball back up in the center. Certainly seems like they're going to have some team cohesion. Sends the ball back over to the corner. Able to evade one player, but unfortunately just not going to be able to get that one straight into net. Oh, that might be a good touch. Barely blocked out. Hikkigan once more able to hold it out. So look towards Peebus Bunkley, trying to keep this one on their own terms. Hikkigan has been such an instrumental player for this team overall. They've looked so key when it comes to being able to play this defense, maintain ball possession. It's something that the rest of the team really should be working on, as they've just been really doing a lot for them. That's a good save, though. Trix Kali's not going to be able to send one in net just yet.
I mean, it was exactly what I was talking about in the break between Game 1 and Game 2, that someone needs to take that bit of control to be able to bring that ball back forward and actually create some offense for the team, and that's exactly what's happened. We've had a much closer game, in fact, so close that in the dying seconds, there's potential for a 0-second decider. Instead, we're sent to overtime. Golden goal, next goal wins, and for Gaia, this is surely a must-win section of the series.
Yeah, at this point you go down here, you're forced to reverse sweep a best of 5. Very, very difficult task at hand. Light of the World can send it down to Trix Kali, who's going to spike it to the side. It's almost an open net, only one defender there. Asher trying to chase for the ball will not be potent enough to get it. And now, Crisp hits it back over to the corner. 0 boost for Asher. Not a lot to work with by any means. And that's going to take a long time to rotate to the offense. They're going to stick to the defense. Still an empty boost amount, and they're getting starved of it, as once more the corner boost does get taken.
And the corner boosts have been a big deciding factor for both of these teams. Not as many pad pickups as I'd like to see. The pathing isn't quite there, so every single bit of value that you can squeeze from a play is invaluable in a series like this. Trixpo still has 50 in the tank. Will use it, send it off that back while the teammate has to be available. Chris was already up, but it goes wide towards that corner. Light of the World can't reach it either. That immediately gives away possession to Geyser. Hikkigan has a tough angle, but off that back wall still leaves the path open for a teammate. Still Light gets there first. Crisp is deep set enough, and that's not a player you want to give space, so Asher makes sure to close it down, but in the box, Hickagan, we've spoken about what a vital factor they've been defensively. However, in offense, not quite having that same spark. Crisp, though, has been dangerous in all areas of the pitch. It resets the tricks.
2 minutes of overtime has already been expended practically. Decent bit of boost for everyone on this blue side. Can they utilize it to the fullest? Oh, I know. Peak again was annoyed at that one. The teammate at 50, they're at 0, and it gets stolen away. But 2 minutes remaining, almost able to send one in, almost able to equalize, may even be able to do it. Not just yet. As Geyer once more back on the defense. Good hits, to say the least, but as Trix Colley's going to be the one to find possession from here on out. Goes to the backboard, and that's an empty net. Light of the World will give them a second goal to put them up 2-0. And this best of 5 just got ever so much more difficult.
And with that shot from Light of the World, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Match point is reached. And for Gaia, it's a bitter reverse sweep to maintain their winner's life. Of course, for either one of these teams, a loss does just send them into that loser's bracket. But you do not want to burn it at the first hurdle, especially for these two teams who have to start earlier in the bracket than anyone else as that 4th and 5th seed.
You know, this might be copium, but I actually liked this game from Geyer a little bit more than I liked for their opponents. Yeah, I think overall Palm Beach, they played very good. They were very mechanical, but when it comes to the actual positioning, Geyer Esports, 11 shots on net. Great work. And it was very much equal. It was a equal disparity throughout the entire team. On the other side of things, it was 10. It was very similar. However, by the same metrics, there was not a whole lot else, right? Like, it was a much more one-sided affair, which you don't love to see. So now that we do get in game number 2 done with, a 2-minute overtime just dealt with. Now Geyer, let's see whether or not they can translate a little bit of better luck in that last game. Oh, never mind. Light of the World starting right where they left off with another goal straight on net.
And it was a great chance as well from Trix just to bring that ball forward from the halfway line. The 50 wasn't great from the defensive player, just ended up right back into the box. And with that also being a double commit at the same time, that second man that was initially positioned to make up for any mishaps in that first 50 just were absent in the first place. And it just makes a bad position go from bad to worse. You speak about the differences between a best of 5 and a best of 7. I'd actually really fancy Gaia in this third game. But now with them facing match point and, of course, facing an early deficit, it is going to take very high level of mental fortitude, especially at this LAN.
We're ready. Back over towards the defense. Palm Beach sends another shot on. Will not be able to facilitate a goal, but as of now, Trix puts it up high. Looking to send it down low. Good shot. The corners. Now Palm Beach back onto the defense. 0 boost for the majority of these players. Starved to nothingness. And actually, again, Hukogen will be able to hold out another quarter boost from the side of Palm Beach, making it even more of a slow tempo game.
There's been a lot of these back passes attempted from both teams as well. That was another one attempted by Palm Beach. It did reach a friendly player, however, just did not have that positioning behind the ball to take it back forward. But now with Light the World completely behind it, this one is only going to find Asher.
At this point, Palm Beach, still 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time to be able to equalize. This is the first game in which Palm Beach was even able to find the opening goal. Both of the other ones was Geyer taking early initiative and securing the opener. This time, however, Palm Beach is looking to be the ones to just put a stranglehold over this match by forcing a 1-0 lead, not taking too many over-aggressive chances. Light of the World sending a second goal in. This player has been light out in the past few minutes.
Really has been. Space has been opened up as well by Crisp on the goal line. All they had to do was find the target and just be quick enough up to the ball, and they have been so speedy as the series has progressed. They've been the real difference maker. That could be the series winner as well, but still 3 minutes left on the clock, a majority of the game to go. And well, if the person who scores first has lost for the entirety of this series, I guess we can claim that as a small victory for Gaia, though it's still not paying out. It was Bunkley. He's on the wrong half of that ball. Is bumped away as well from maintaining possession for any second touches. Chris takes it to the corner. There is a double up in that forward space, and typically that's not what you want to see from the offensive team. However, in this case, they've got nothing to lose, but you've got to take those shots.
Now, Geyer, you really do just have to drop all ideas of defense. This has to be a real comeback, and a miracle may be necessary. 2 minutes. It isn't going to be too out of control just yet. We'll just have to score around a goal an average of 1 minute, but oh, another open net, and Crisp is going to be the one to strike. This team, Palm Beach, just looking to cement themselves in a further round.
Wow, that was a deceptively difficult shot from Crisp. He's so far on the right of that ball to hook himself around and still just about get enough power to see that one over the line is extremely impressive. And I said that one of these teams had to be convincing heading into that next round because they need to prove their worth more than what their seeding granted them, than whatever happened back in league play. Some players are just LAN players, and Palm Beach is looking like a LAN team.
Absolutely. They have been completely zero nerves, and they've just looked phenomenal every single time. This might be a little bit of a interesting play, right? Seeing Geyer now scrambling to get back onto the defense. Let's see what this does end up looking like as they start rotating back. Nobody really staying to the offense, which is definitely a bit of a concern. The shots will be evaded for another goal, but a minute remaining. It really does seem like this game is all but concluded. Asher is trying to get any type of consolation prize, but that is also going to be beyond the current seams of things. Now it's just going to be back into the corner. Geyer not given a single chance.
Palm Beach just have to keep the ball out of net, hit it about, just make sure to dwindle down that clock. The fourth man is now a factor. And for Gaia, unfortunately, they stand outnumbered. Crispo looking for the double tap just to keep the mechanical form. It doesn't quite make it over the line, but it's another warning sent to the opposing Stepinac Crusaders players who are watching that Palm Beach are on fire, hot off the iron, and if you don't come out quick out the gates in this follow-up best of 5, we might just see a huge upper bracket run from the 4th seeded team. But the final seconds now dwindle down. It's the final seconds in the upper bracket from Gaia, and at least there can be somewhat of a sweet aftertaste.
Yeah, the Rams finally will be able to get a bit of, not the Rams, yeah, they're finally not going to be having the most dominant performance one would have initially expected. But on the other side of things, it is definitely not ideal. The clock now, literally impossible to win. The bare minimum you're going to be able to get is a 1-goal deficit game. But overall, we're just expecting this one to rear its head right into the grass and find victory. 3-0 victory comes out. The Retro Rams secure their victories. The Palm Beach will move up another match and become one step closer to a championship.
That was an incredible performance, just through and through. The first game, I did fear that they were not challenged nearly as much as they could have been from Gaia, and I just could not say the same in that second game. We asked for a level up from them. We saw a level up from them. Palm Beach was still good enough to take that second game, and they went, no, we're not going to that overtime again. Now it's our turn to shift it up a gear. They went that extra level, and, well, they were unchaseable in that third game. It was as simple as that. They got off to that flying start with that early goal, and they just kept on coming. Now looking forward at that winners bracket round 2, very happy to continue watching the journey of this team because I truly believe they could go on a pretty significant run.
Yeah, overall, the team cohesion that they show, they displayed such synergy, and I think that's something you really do look towards in a good collegiate team, a good high school team, every level of organizational play. what you really do look towards in Scholastic is going to be that team play. Yes, mechanics work. Yes, being able to
Mhm.
be a single star does have a lot of, firepower behind it. It can bring your team to another level. However, what's going to really be something that I'm looking towards in the best team to take home a championship is going to be that consistency. That consistency does not arrive from one player, that works from a whole unit, a whole group being able to come together and find victory. But ladies and gentlemen, before we'll be able to see this team competing later on tonight, we're going to go to a short little break. So let's head out. We're going to see y'all soon. Go get some water, go get some other stuff. Who knows? Get some snacks because I know I'm going to be a little bit hungry for some more
I'm
Rocket League
down.
action in just a bit.
bracket round 1. They also have the disadvantage of not playing that winners bracket round 1. Swings and roundabouts, but it's all ready for the first kickoff of, again, this best of 5.
Yeah, these two teams, they both have come in here so high seeded. They both have had so much well-deserved recognition in this tournament, and as of now, we'll see whether or not this new Archbishop squad will have the same level of dominance we saw from Palm Beach. I mean, a 3-0 scoreline in the previous series definitely does spell out a bit of a dominant position to be in as a team, not losing out in a single game. But as we do look toward our first game, this is going to be where we'll really set the tone, right? Are we going to be seeing similar to what we saw in the first game of the series on our last series, where it was a very, one-sided 4-1 finish? Will be closer to the second game, where it was just a 2-1 game, where it just kind of went the distance and ended up in overtime at the end.
Well, this is a great way to get the ball rolling yet again by the Rams. It's the light of the world putting it onto that back corner. Trixcoli reads that perfectly, and there was a defender who just about could have reached that one. It was a hard ball to predict when it is coming down with so much speed. First minute, first goal, and still really waiting to see what Stepinac are going to be capable of. We've seen just a few chances towards that midfield line, not many have progressed into that final third, and part of that has been the impressive defensive performance from the Rams to just keep it out of that danger area. But they're going to be tested more and more as this game goes on.
Palm Beach, a school who, within the first series that we were able to see from them, not very consistently able to find early goals. This time, completely different story, as they're already completely poising themselves up for a championship appearance. And at this point, 3 minutes and 33 seconds in, you really are looking at this team and expecting greatness from them.
It was that third game as well where that narrative did start to change about this team and how they start their games early. Now that they brought that into this second series as well, that puts them in excellent stride. It's the one bit of advantage they have after already playing on land today, but individual efforts, hops, skips, jumps their way throughout the entire defense, and will be a rather rude introduction into the series from Papazard.
Absolutely great way to bounce back. Only 19 seconds or so since the last goal was scored, and at this point, see this game get ever so much more close and really starting to dig out some of the cement. Palm Beach was starting to come in and flip the script, almost able to put another one on target with a low shot. Unfortunately, not going to be coming into fruition just yet. The rebound might be there, the follow-up is, but they still need to dig another one out, and it will be Trixcoli. Such a multi-dimensional play that just works out so well for them.
Every single player getting involved to build up that attack, and to round it all off with a wonderful aerial against that final defender. It's really the icing on the cake, but there is a chance for so much showmanship in this series because we actually have Archbishop Stepinac as the first seed for this competition. But seed 4 are already causing a shake-up. It is Crisp and Light of the World yet again to link up.
A phenomenal upset win might just be on the cards. Halfway through game number 1, 4-1 scoreline currently on the ropes. Difficulties are being shown, and cracks through the defense are being found. Issues just constantly being exploited. And so far, Palm Beach having no real contention in this game. Obviously, there's the one goal we saw earlier on, but could just be scoffed up to just, nerves in a series of this caliber. Another one, Trixcoli. And at this point, it really does seem as if we have already found out our game 1 winner.
Yeah, it certainly does. 4-goal difference, still half the game left to go. Of course, we've already seen that Archbishop Stepinac can at least break down the defensive line. They do have themselves a goal to record, but all means nothing when so many have gone against you. But this is where we do call for that mentality change that we were actually speaking about early in the first series of the day, where you just have to play as if it's 0-0. Darwizivo is looking for a little bit more from his own half. The first touch is heavy, and I thought that was going to be the attack completely over, but the dunk is so good from the top row.
Alrighty, still some competition. Still, both teams keeping this game healthy and alive. 3 goals necessary. Not going to be easy. Not going to be impossible. The dudes to look towards King. Trying to mount this ball up in center. The follow-up scene. Paperzog. Hit it right on center. Unfortunate follow-up. Gets a little bit physical with it. Able to avoid any real destruction just yet. Palm Beach. They're going to be going high. Hits the backboard. Sent far and flying. As Little C going to try and get one right underway. Unfortunately, the ball just unable to hit a swift demise. Paperzog once more trying to thread the needle on this goal line. Not going to be capable just yet. This ball still gets out of contention and back onto enemy territory.
Right to the world. Back up for Trix Coley. Does stay close to the play. Gets the extra one to just bring it into the danger area. The pre-flip was almost enough to take it past the line, but Paperzog able to make that save. That layoff touch, however, getting in the way of the player that wanted to do it all by themselves. Instead, it just puts the ball right back into the box, and Light of the World is going to take that one every single time.
Light of the World, a player who is so far in this game being a little bit on the quieter side. We remember in the previous series they were absolutely dominant throughout it. And this time it is going to be Chris to take another one. A 7th goal to be constructed. And this lead, it is not going anywhere.
It certainly isn't, and well, we might not be able to take a trip towards South America. However, you guys can come see me in Europe. Could be a trip to Spain if we see one more from Palm Beach. And Trix Coley has that exact aim, goes for the pinch, doesn't go towards the target instead. Wizzy needs to keep this ball into the corners. We've seen a lot of these touches fall far and away into the center, and that just has given away just 3 goal-scoring opportunities to Palm Beach. It's how they've been able to rack up their numbers so quick, though Paperzog has proven they've got the mechanics. However, this one will just spill away from them. 30 seconds remaining for the bleeding to stop.
30 seconds, ball gets close, and it will go in. It was a close one. Obviously, will this affect the state of the game? Almost absolutely not. This will still require a complete miracle. However, these consolation goals to get the rising of the mentality, put a little bit of energy in the players, give them something to work towards. Definitely could be a nice change of pace.
Cauterises the wound, though, in time for that second game. They have looked a little bit better as the game has gone on. And there have been times where, of course, they've given away the goal-scoring opportunities themselves. Of course, Palm Beach have been an excellent side. Many of these goals definitely have been off their own accord. But if less were given away for free in the follow-up games, I don't believe we will see as one-sided of a scoreline moving forward. But these are all ifs, buts, and maybes, and the players have to bring that paper to the pitch.
Yeah, this has been a flipped script completely, as the 4 seed taking down the 1 seed in the first game. Go towards the scoreline especially, right? It is not a one-person game. 3 goals from 2 of the Retro Rams players. Palm Beach having such superb play to the point where 6 of their 7 goals, haha, 6-7, quick little joke. But back to what we were talking about, 6 of their 7 goals were also assisted, which really does show that not only are they getting these goals done, but it's also a lot of quality behind it, right? Where you have the majority of these players interacting with each and every chance that they get. At this point, Archbishop, backs are against the wall to a certain extent. It was a very one-sided matchup, 7-3. Yes, you were able to score a few. However, the majority of this did certainly set a tone. That's ridiculous. In no reality should that shot have been allowed to be deflected. But in the end, we'll be still seeing Palm Beach able to stay healthy at a 0-0 score.
Well, but Stepinac are going to send another right at them. It's a great few touches from Paperzog! From the right wall, goes the entire way. And it's all about how he carries his way through this flip, maintains control off the recoil, and just sends it the full distance. We have seen glimpses of magic from this player. Now is its time to really change the course of this game. Palm Beach want to respond off the kickoff, but Darwizzy doesn't let it happen. An explosive start from Stepinac.
Hits it to the corner, takes a shot, unfortunately a little bit too wide once more. Now trying to fight for it, Paper Zog. And hit it right over, and Trick's colleague gonna be the next one to take possession. That's an open net, and the lack of discipline comes through, shines through. And at this point, that will be Palm Beach sending another goal on target. The Rams equalize.
You speak about lack of discipline. It was a great 50 just to beat that man in the midfield. But then you see Crisp, for some reason, was already up the pitch as well. There's a layer of confidence that Palm Beach play with, which is very uncharacteristic from a team. It is certainly playing this first seed out of Book. Both players up for this one. As you can see, third man very high up the pitch. That's not really natural to what you would see in these 3v3 lobbies. Usually that last man playing a bit more defensive. Instead, Palm Beach just want to send everyone forward, just want to score more goals than you, just wants to keep the hits coming. Crisp manages to extend this lead, and this is of just aggression from his own lines.
The second goal brought into fruition as Palm Beach puts forth a second opportunity translated into a goal on target. Next, we are going to be seeing this ball staying static up in air, now looming over towards Palm Beach. But as multiple players start to maneuver this ball, explore their options right across, Crisp once more keeps this in play, but still unable to find it. Palm Beach once more tries to send it in. The defense starting to work around, gives them some alleviated pressure. However, it was all just for nothing. It's back onto their side of the court. Crisp, not a lot of boost to work with, has to be conservative with it, but as it does start to loom towards Palm Beach's side, there's 96 for Trick's collie. They're gonna have to be a mainstay player to hold this one out, but the ball does get very, very high. Taken out, but still front and center for a shot. That'll put it right on target.
Darwizzy keeps it between the posts. It's an excellent shot from just outside the 6-yarder. And for a player of that name, you'd expect it to come off the woodwork, but instead we're brought back to equal. Over half a game still left to go. And Cherry, we have been blessed with another high-scoring affair, though this one a lot more two-sided. As there we go again. The 8-4 man himself does moves you haven't seen before. Cut by paper.
These two teams are showcasing why they're here at San Antonio. And neither one wants to go home just yet. Despite a disappointing game number 1, there is no intention to go home from the Archbishop squad. Now, Crisp gets the touch, hits the demo instead. At this point, you have half the game remaining. 2.5 minutes on clock. Palm Beach looking superb, but unfortunately for them, the firepower that they're going up against really is starting to come online. That's an open net. Lee scrapes its way on in and equalizes at 3-3.
This was a nervy ball to watch for a second. I thought it was just going to hit the wrong side of that post and somehow not make its way past the line. Instead, it is another equalizer. This game has been as back and forth as you could possibly ever ask for. But it's Crisp on the backboard. And you're just hoping that a certain Paper Zorg isn't around, because that has definitely been the mechanical player on the pitch. This time, though, Darwizzy is going to be the one to get the intercept with a full tank of boost. Crisp, make sure there's no mechanical shenanigans.
Within the 2 games that have already been played today, we've already seen 16 goals. 7-3 on game number 1, 3-3. And obviously, we're going to be seeing a minimum of 17. If not more, but realistically, we can expect at least each team to get to 4 with how this has been going. That's a good shot. Will get blocked. Crisp going to be able to hold this one off course just for the time being. Once more, hits it high, goes center, drops it down. Ball up, unfortunately, going to be in a pretty precarious spot. But as the ball does start to march its way back onto the opposite side, another demo to come out, back over, right in front of net, but it is held slowly and short. Not going to be taking too much verticality to the ball just yet. However, as of now, Paper Zog looking to have a different approach. Ball goes straight on over, and if it wasn't for King Darwizzy, that would have been the lead given over.
Every single goal could be the decider, especially when you are in this final minutes. Archbishop Stepinac have to get it out back half, but it's Paper Zog in possession. We've already seen the 1v3s. Here's another. Just take away a player and give him the hat trick. Archbishop Stepinac fight back.
Absolute dominance to come out as they are now 4-3, despite losing in such tremendous fashion in game number 1. The resilience and the grit that this team is displaying is extraordinary. To come back and take a lead 4-3. Now, all you have to do, hold out 30 more seconds. Can they do it, or will we see this game turn into a BO3?
Oh, it's bounced down. This could be the ball to send it into OT. Well, there's time for that little bit extra. And Paper Zog, he's been the hero of this game. He's been the hero for Stepinac. But off that backboard, it's one mistake which could make all the difference.
One mistake after another now. Looking to try and bring this overtime. If you're on the side of Archbishop, though, they're looking to try and cancel an overtime. This might be a bit of a difficult spot as this ball, everyone tries to rotate ASAP, will be blocked out for the time being. Everyone on the red side hits the defense. And because of that, they won't have a whole lot of players to try and invest onto the offense. That's not necessary. Barely not allowing a goal. That was almost a very close situation, but it is going to be 4-4. Nice shot to come out from the Archbishop squad, looking to try and transfer into a goal, but unfortunately will not be there for the time being.
And Stepinac have played their hearts out after a really disappointing opening game. And they have to be the team to score next, otherwise it's just a reverse sweep requirement. Though Paper lands the cuts. That is unbelievable. That is your MVP. That is the first win of Stepinac.
An absolute masterclass performance, to say the least. Now, going to game number 3. Neither team hitting match point just yet. And so far, this absolute high-tempo, fast-paced, consistent scoring game has been looking tremendous. And I mean, you said MVP, and we really do mean MVP. 4 goals, 4 saves, 6 shots. A absolute, just unbelievable scoreline, to say the least. That is over a 50% shot to goal conversion rate, as well as 4 goals saved.
Well, the friends and family are in chat as well of Paper Zog, and making sure to give them a show as this series has gone on. The first game was definitely a slip. The second game was certainly close. Now with the third, the perfect first flip, the reset though, not taking it across. This is your time to start to run away from it. Rip away the hands of Palm Beach from the steering wheel and control this series yourself. Palm Beach have actually been put on the back foot in this first 30.
Already looking towards Little C. Gonna fake the shot already. Goes for the defense, tries to redirect, give it a bit of a odd spot. That was almost way too close, but overall still applying pressure. Looking to try and make this lead your own in game number 3. Force yourselves on the match point. This is one of, if not the most important games of the series. But are going to look towards this ball, sent back to the corner. Multiple players starting to hurdle around it. Unfortunately, though, nobody to be able to gather even a close attempt.
No, not quite. So Paper Zog's ground game's been put to the test yet again. This time, like the The Lights was able to get that first block. Paper Zog can't get this one back inside. It's just constantly is ricocheting back and forth. Though Palm Beach finally thought they had found some space, but yet again, it's Paper Zog back on the ball, and it's back in this pink half.
This has been a very different change of tempo for sure, as unlike the past 2 games where it's extremely high, rapid pace shooting, this one is a lot more of a consistency game. Both teams looking to make sure that they don't give up any real difficulties, don't give up any issues. And as of now, we're 2 minutes into the match and not a single goal has been achieved. Look towards Trix Collie, looking to hold this one center. Unfortunately, rams it right into one of the enemy players. Unfortunately, no real capitalization to be found. And with a stellar workaround, brings it to the opposite side of the pitch. But within the other corner, everyone from Palm Beach now starting to scale up the midfield.
And this is where Palm Beach are at their strongest. When they're in this offensive half, they play a lot more attacking than Stepinac do. And whilst you are fatigued in defense when you are Palm Beach, on the other side, it's all about these quick bursts of play and being able to keep up with that high speed. Paper Zorg sends it out to the right. Chris is going to be challenged towards that ceiling. Clean Darwizzy instead pulls off the fake with Coley. Just running away from the play. That's given up some space just on the edge of the third. Paper Zorg, though, wants to extend it one extra. Still does not let it happen. Palm Beach hold off this halfway line as if it's their own net. But now that opens up with Little C having to 50 against either world. Paper Zog is there quicker on the second, and still it dwindles down to neutrality. Palm Beach send that one back up the pitch.
Pretty good impact on the shot. Paper Zog able to hold this one straight back on into midfield. It is up to Paper Zog. Light of the world, though, to reposition it. King Darwizzy unfortunately hits it the wrong way, and that subtle mistake will issue them the lead lost. And the momentum gathered from the last match and now instantly dissipate. We look towards Palm Beach as the new team in the driver's seat.
And that was frustration from Stepinac. They sent everyone forward for that one attack. It's been completely against the game plan they played with, and they will be punished as a result, because when it rains, it pours, and Light of the World is just the crack in the clouds.
And a swift kickoff ends with Palm Beach really looking to set this game in stone, putting up another goal. With 1 minute and 16 seconds now to take 2 goals to at least bring to overtime, let alone find a win. It is definitely going to be a very, very difficult set of challenges that you will have to overcome. Palm Beach, how are they going to look to continue this reign of terror they're putting up against everyone that's come their way? In the last series, it was a 3-0. This time, there's been a little bit of contention, but it's a very close game to say the least. It's 5-4 in the end. I mean, you could really chalk that up to nerves, maybe some other issues, overconfidence perhaps. But overall, it really has been looking very much like this team is here to win, putting up a 3rd goal with 37 seconds remaining on the clock. It is Palm Beach's game to win.
And Stepinac, like I said, they were playing the right game plan for the majority of this 5 minutes of regulation. They kept it in that final third. They refused to overcommit on any chance. In fact, for most cases, I would say they were undercommitting just to make sure they could maintain possession and that field domination. But as soon as you let Palm Beach into the game, they will run with it. Light of the World is on fire yet again. And this game will fall for another Palm Beach match point position, though only 2 to take if Archbishop's Stepinac want to be the team to advance to the winner's semi-finals. Sorry, the winner's finals, I actually believe.
At this point, though, it will be the Rams to send home a 2-1 scoreline. Can they end this off 3-1? Will we be seeing Game 5? That'll be the question. But overall, this has been definitely, I mean, I would even maybe say this was the most dominant game we've seen tonight. It is the only one where there was not a single goal on the opposite side of things. And I mean, just look at the shots as well. A single shot taken by Paper Zog. A complete 180 from the last game.
And that feels like a suspicious stat when you look at the first 3 minutes of that game, where we were in pink territory. The shots were not coming, and it does actually somewhat confirm my fears that they were, to an extent, a bit undercommittal when they got themselves into that final half. You got to make sure that those touches actually have value behind them. Sure, you can take that space, and they did a great job at doing so, but then you've got to do something with it, okay? You can't just be given all of the ingredients from the fridge and not make yourself a wonderful, what was it? Lamb and asparagus, I think you were talking about off screen.
Oh yeah, lamb and asparagus. Well, I don't think you'd find... Actually, you would find lamb and asparagus both in the fridge. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the pantry for some reason, but I guess that wouldn't be there. So yeah, I mean, right now, Palm Beach, this is actually a situation where we're seeing a little bit of aggression coming to them, but it is, as you said, right, the undercommitments being shining through at this point. And as Trix Collie hits it back, can they get the rebound? Answer is yes. And it will be the Palm Beach squad once more sending home the lead and looking to cement themselves up in the grand final.
And it was 3 up. Not a single one making the vital touch they needed in the Stepinac defense. The Crusaders need to bring out their swords. 1 goal is the difference, but 4 minutes still stand. A chance to immediately bring that down to 0. Doesn't happen quite yet. Palm Beach looking like they've got a good opportunity to just get themselves out of defense. Light of the World needs to get this touch going towards that correct direction, but now Little C's been able to take towards the skies. It is heading towards the target. Read well, though, by Chris.
The lethality from all these players on the Rams has just been out of this world. You give them any space to work with, if you disrespect their presence, their potency, it is going to cost you at least a goal, if not a second. Overall, I mean, it has just been such a one-sided game, despite what the scoreline of 2-1 would look to tell you. At this point, you're really going to be searching for an answer.
What a save that was again from Chris. There's been a brick wall for Palm Beach so far, and that has been vital to their success leading up to this point, and it might be the factor that ends up securing their ticket to the winners' final as well. But over here in Texas, still more drama as Light of the World doubles up the scoreline for Palm Beach and picks up his first of this game. And unfortunately for Stepinac, these usually come in pairs.
At this point, 3 minutes remaining, a second goal to be confirmed. And it is pretty different from what was on the previous game, where it was that pretty equalized spot for the majority of it, and then at the end, that's when we saw the Palm Beach squad starting to explode, starting to really take the lead and run with it. This time around, it's a very similar game, but a different aspect to it. Oh man, let's see. I mean, 2.5 minutes, we're at the halfway point at this point. Paper Zog hits it down to the corner, instantaneously keeping it low. Trix College is going to play keep away for the time being. Look towards Chris, though. They're the next prong of this trident. Unfortunately, not going to be able to convert the goal just yet. This might be an opportunity. Never mind, Trix College comes right when necessary.
And while the trident was blunt in that attack, you do still fear for the lone blade of Paper Zog when he is in possession. He is the player to attack in this corner. Instead, attacks actually land towards the player instead of the ball. Light of the World makes a save out towards the corner, and this is what you are recommended to do. You're not recommended to do touches like that typically into the dangerous center, but they were coordinated well. Much better than what we're seeing from this Stepinac defense. And this is why I said you clear to the corners, because there's always going to be someone ready to pounce, and Light of the World has definitely been the player to do it time and time again.
At this point, we are at the closing point of this series. It certainly seems as if this game has all but concluded, with Palm Beach taking a 3-1 scoreline off of a 3-0 victory. The only way you can really change your fate here is averaging around a goal per 20 seconds, and this might even be able to make that an even harder difficulty. Not just yet, it will get blocked for the time being. Everyone trying to fight in air, but another low touch gets it to the corner, barely misses out on the goal. Tragically enough, though, there's one. Alrighty, King Darwish
Hold on.
starts the comeback. Let's see if they can get two now with a minute remaining.
Hold on. Still over a minute to go. 2 goals required from both teams that have proven that they can thrive in these high-scoring games. They've got way less time to do it. Every second is going to be a crunch. It's a 4v3 when you factor that timer in the favor of Palm Beach. But this is where you send the kitchen sink towards them. 48 seconds to remain your winner's life.
Yeah, you're gonna need to really pull out all of the stops. It's as you said, right? You really can't leave anything in this game. As you 30 seconds now, it is getting ever so much more difficult. The time strenuous, and it's even worse now as Trix Collie will look to slam the door on a game number 5 potential.
And well, you could see that Stepinac did throw the kitchen sink at them. Unfortunately, they caught it and threw it right back. And that is going to hurt in these dying seconds where it does start to feel like a victory lap. As long as the touches are solid from Palm Beach. But hold on, it's Paper Zorg reintroducing himself to the series to put this one to a goal every 10 seconds.
A superb workaround, and they'll start to get some kind of team cohesion syncing up with each other. Let's see. And the score off kickoff here. Maybe he'll be able to get something. That's a good way to start it, but unfortunately the follow-up just not there. Crisp can take it from here. Lands low. Gonna have a little bit of physicality. Light of the world hits it high. Is the follow-up available? Answer, no. Fought for it. And with 5 seconds, this game all but over. We saw a little bit of some glimpses of life towards the end as they scored 2. But unfortunately, the side of Palm Beach, the Rams, too powerful. Their potency, their dominance still remains. And so far tonight, they had a real masterclass performance. We saw them go 6 for 1 in terms of game scores. 2-0 in terms of series scores.
Yeah.
And a championship on the line tomorrow.
Wow, wow, wow. A clash against the Crusaders, and there is a mutiny at the top of the EGF Nationals. That was the first seed sent to the lower bracket at the earliest convenience. And while Palm Beach had an excellent day today, but it just felt like it was getting better and better and better, Jerry. And if they continue to ramp up like this heading into tomorrow, top 3 is already their floor. I feel like they could push that bit extra. Once you've taken down number 1, you are the de facto number 1.
Absolutely. And I mean, the 4 seed is not too much far below it. Obviously, it is still an upset of all means. This Palm Beach Lakes Community High School, definitely not one to take lightly. We're going to be seeing a whole lot from them soon because that is real dominance that they're displaying. We'll see them tomorrow with even more dominance.
Absolutely. Well, we are unfortunately going to be going for the night, ladies and gentlemen, but it has been an absolute pleasure to be on your screens alongside Cherry. We have also had the wonderful Aeon doing the producing for us today as well. But for those of you that have been watching, make sure that you do follow this Twitch channel and keep those notifications on so you can keep up to date with all of the action. It was an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all tomorrow.